Hi guys, welcome to the Mythic Booster channel and welcome to another episode on Magic the Gathering. We have got the How to Play Magic the Gathering coming up soon because I hope some new people that haven't seen this game that watch this channel are going to pick it up and find some more information out. And also, yeah, just tons more Magic the Gathering stuff. I love playing this game, so I want to share that with you. But today is going to be a deck tech. So this is more aimed at people that have played Magic the Gathering before. And it is a deck tech on my take on a modern Affinity deck. Now, this is a deck that has been around for a very long time. It's a very powerful deck. It's a very quick deck. It's lots of fun to play with. Needs a little bit of practice, but however, this is my take on it, and it's a little bit different to the others. I think it's got a few really interesting tweaks. So if you want to see this deck tech on Modern Affinity, keep watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Give it a great big thumbs up if you like this video, and stick around for some Magic the Gathering Modern Affinity deck tech. Okay, so as I was saying, Modern Affinity deck tech here on the Mythic Booster channel. I really want to add more Magic the Gathering content because I'm really enjoying playing the game again. I had a little bit of a break, and you know what, now back on it big time. I'm going to see some family this weekend, which is who I spend most of my time playing Magic with. So I've been tweaking a few little decks, and this is one I've been really putting some effort in, and I want to share it with you guys. So I want to see your comments down below, what you think of this slight twist on the Modern Affinity deck. Please, please, please let me know. Okay, so as with anything, we're going to start off with the creatures. And I'm going to start off with some of the things you would expect to see in this deck, and we'll go from there. So, first and foremost, we have got 3 copies of Steel Overseer. There you are for you. 3 copies of Steel Overseer, and the reason I like this card is it's brilliant. It works so well, and it works really well with some of the other sort of cards I've got going on in this deck, and I actually haven't seen people with this twist in it, so I'm going to put that card up there. I haven't seen this twist, and it will become really, really apparent why this is really quite important. But however, Steel Overseer, not a surprise in a Modern Affinity deck. It has the ability of tap, put a 1/1 counter on each artifact creature you control. It's a 1/1 for 2, that's it, and every other creature gets a 1/1 counter when you tap it. You can do that on your opponent's go. Yeah, really, really cool card. After that, something else you would expect to see in this set, and that is, boom, Master of... See, look, it's been so long looking at all these cards, forget the names. It's Etched Champion. Etched Champion is so OP, it is ridiculous. It's totally, totally ridiculous. It's a 3-cost creature. If I hold this one here, like that, it's a 3-cost creature, and it has Metalcraft, which means Etched Champion has protection from all colours as long as you control 3 or more artefacts. Protection from all colours is a ridiculous ability. So that is, it can't be the target of spells or abilities, it can't be interacted with. So, for example, you can't even block it. If you have a coloured creature, your opponent has a coloured creature, it can't block. It cannot block. So this can only be blocked by things like Eldrazi that don't have a colour, they are sort of devoid of colour, or other artefact creatures or other colourless creatures, which is just stupid. It means you can start wailing on your opponents at it. It's got like immunity from instants and sorceries that have a colour. It is ridiculous. And as you'll see with this deck, you always have 3 artifacts. You just always, because Modern Affinity, it's an artifact deck. And that's what drew me to it. I like the idea of like quirky things, creating a deck, all of one colour. Yeah, very, very cool. So, Etched Champion, another thing we expect to see. Cool. And then we've got another 3 of creature, and that 3 of creature is going to be Signal Pest. So Signal Pest, 1 cost for a 0/1. That doesn't sound that good, does it? Well, it is, because what it does is, one thing you notice with this deck is all the creatures aren't expensive. The idea is you get your creatures out quick and you start bashing your opponent to death as quick as you can with what you will soon see become massive creatures. So, for example, this creature has Battle Cry, which is whenever this creature attacks, each other attacking creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. So what this is doing, this is pumping your creatures. As soon as this attacks, your other creatures get bigger. And it also says, Signal Pest can't be blocked except by creatures with flying or reach. So basically, it has all the same abilities of flying. It can only be blocked by other flying creatures and by creatures with reach, and reach can block flying. So, at the moment, it's a 0/1. So you swing with it, it's not going to do any damage to your opponent, but everything else that attacks is getting that +1/+0 ability. But however, this is going to start getting big because of Steel Overseer, which, when you tap it, everything gets +1/+1. So it's getting very big, very quick, and that is very cool. There's another 3-of card. Cool. Now we're moving on to the... oh, no, one more 3-of. Tell a lie. We have one more 3-of card. And I must admit, I couldn't resist the full artwork on this one. And that full artwork is Memnite. It's brilliant. I love it. It's something for nothing. It is a 0 cost. A 0 cost creature that is a 1/1. What more could you possibly want? It's a 1/1 creature that you can start hitting your opponent with, and it costs... bing! Absolutely nada, zip, not a sausage. It is free! And the good thing about free cards in this deck is the more artifacts you can get out quickly, the more pain and suffering you can inflict on your best friend or whoever it is you are playing Magic with at the time. And we like that. We like taking people's life very quickly because then we win. Woo! So, Memnite, really cool card, 0 cost. Sweet. So, you know, why have one 0 cost creature when you can have many 0 cost creatures? So, you might have all guessed this, and that is Ornithopter. It's a flying creature. Flying is always good. Flying is a pain in the backside, no matter what magic you're playing. It's a 0/2, 4/2, and it is flying. Again, it can't do any damage, but if Signal Pest is blocking, that then becomes a 1/2. If Steel Overseer is in play and it's tapped, that's then a 2/2, and it's getting, or 2/3, and it's getting bigger and bigger. I couldn't resist the different artwork. So we've got that artwork as well, and that artwork as well. I'm trying to find the original Ornithopter artwork. I've got my eye on eBay. It's not a dear card. It's about 25p. So that would be really cool. So we've got all the different generations. So if we put them in order, right up to the current, it'd be nice to have the little running series. Obviously, there is an Expedition or a Masterpiece version now, which is kind of cool, but however, it is 65 English pounds, and I don't think I want 65 pounds worth of Ornithopter. The shininess in me would love it, but however, I think I'm going to go for the 25p, and original is always the best. So, there we've got our Ornithopter army in there as well, and that is a 4-of. Main reason we got a 4-of is because it's so good. Flying is such a good ability. We just need that in there. So there is our little flying Ornithopter army. Now, this is the next one that has to be in every deck. It's a slightly more pricey card, and that is Arcbound Ravager. Arcbound Ravager is definitely a staple within the artifact deck. It's a 2-cost 0/0 creature when it comes out. However, sacrifice an artifact, put a 1/1 counter on Arcbound Ravager. As we've realised, we have tons of artifacts that we can sacrifice to get counters on Arcbound Ravager. It's also got modular 1, and this is where it becomes totally stupid. This comes into play with a 1/1 counter on it. So it's going to be a 1/1 as soon as you play it. So it's a 1/1 for 2. When it's put into a graveyard, you may put its 1/1 counter on target artifact creature. Now, this lets you dodge so many things. For example, okay? So you get this card, okay? And what are you going to do? So you attack with this creature, and it's a 1/1. But you're attacking with 2 other creatures. So your opponent goes, what am I going to block? So if you're attacking with this, and an Ornithopter, and a Memnite, what's going to happen is you attack with this, and they block it. So what you do is you kill it, and then kill another thing, and put all the counters on the one thing you're attacking with. Or, if they don't block this, you sacrifice the other 2 creatures, put all the counters on this. It makes your opponent terrified. because no matter what they block, unless they block everything, or they even can't think, okay, I'll block the biggest creature, you just switch it all around. And you just wail on them with massive things. And this makes redonkulous things happen. Arcbound Ravager, really, really cool card. I thought, you know, I wanted to go for the original artwork. You know, original and the best. Everyone seems to be playing. There was a Modern Masters 2013 version of this card. And everyone seems to play with that in the deck. But you know what? Original and the best. Let me just move all these cards along for a bit, because I've got one more creature to show you. And this is the slightly more off-piste creature. And this is the one that confuses me. And I don't see why people don't play with it. You ready? Hangerback Walker. Hangerback Walker, okay. Let's put that there. And Hangerback Walker, right? 0/0 for X and X. So you need to pay 2. So X needs to be the same cost. So if you pay 2, you end up with a 1/1. So X is 1, X is 1. You pay 2 and 2. So you pay 4, you get a 2/2. However, this is where it's important. Hangerback Walker enters the battlefield with X 1/1 counters on it. When Hangerback Walker dies, put a 1/1 colourless Thopter artifact creature token with flying onto the battlefield for each +1/+1 counter on Hangerback Walker. You can pay 1 and tap it and put counters on it, but however, Steel Overseer will do that for you, so you can potentially be adding 2 a turn on your opponent's turn when you're spending your mana on them. But here is the interesting thing. So you've got 4 counters on this. You're attacking with Arcbound Ravager. You don't have to attack with this. Attack with Arcbound Ravager, say Signal Pest and Ornithopter. You kill this. So you sacrifice it. You get a +1/+ counter on Arcbound Ravager. Then the Thopter tokens are produced. You can then sacrifice them as well. So that's potentially 4 or 5 +1/+1 counters on Arcbound Ravager. You can either then sacrifice Arcbound Ravager and distribute those counters amongst, because you don't just have to put them on one of your creatures, you can put them on many different ones. That's what it says. It's not just it. This comes into play with a 1/1 counter on it. When it's put into a graveyard, you may put its 1/1 counters on target artifact creature. So you can shift it around however you like. So this, to me, this is the hidden gem. Because it's cheap, which is what the format needs, but it's not one artifact, it's potentially 4, 5, 6, 7. This potentially makes your Arcbound Ravager ridiculous. It can make it huge. So for me, Hangerback Walker is just totally blow your mind. Totally blow your mind. So I don't know why people aren't doing that. Anyway, let's go on to the next bit. Let's go on to our enchantments. When I'm saying enchantments, we do have some enchantments, but it's predominantly artifacts, if you hadn't guessed. So, after this, we have got Springleaf Drum. Springleaf Drum is really cool. You tap an untapped creature you control and add 1 mana of any colour to your mana pool. Predominantly, our mana in this deck is colourless. God, I don't know what went down the wrong way, but it went down the wrong way. We need to generate some mana from somewhere. We need to generate some coloured mana from somewhere. This lets us do it, because we're not packing loads of opportunities to get coloured mana. And this, with all of our creatures that we're throwing out, we always have things to tap to get the cool coloured mana that we need. And that's really important, and it's also really helpful. So Springleaf Drum, integral part of this deck to generate different coloured mana. Then we're going to go on to the next obvious thing, and that obvious thing is this card, which is stupid. It is the most stupid card in the world in this deck, and that is Cranial Plating. Again, it's not dear, it's 2 cost, and basically, you can bring it in. Equipped creature gets +1/+0 for each artifact you control. Turn 1 in this deck, it's quite normal to have 3 artifacts. So you pay a land, and you could play a land, which is 1. You play Signal Drum, so that's your second. Then you play Ornithopter for nothing. You can then tap your land. You're still adding mana. So this is ridiculous. This is 2 cost, and you cost 1 to equip it. But however, you can pay 2 black and attach it to a creature you control. That's at instant speed. So if you've got this attached to your Arcbound Ravager, and we've just shifted all of our counters over there, boom. But however, if you've had to mess it around and this is on something else, instant speed, boom, move it across, you are then getting huge off of this card. You can be just, it's silly, like turn 2, 3, you've got 6, 7 artifacts in play. You can start hitting people with 7 power creatures. These are talking Eldrazi big creatures, 7 power creatures, turn 2 or 3. That's just not heard of in decks, and that's really cool. Next, again, another staple of Modern Affinity, but an amazing card. I was doing some research, and I wasn't aware of this card existed. Just straighten up Hangerback Walker there. When I read it, you hear about sort of mono red aggro decks that deal out massive damage. Well, this is just silly. What if I told you a 1 red cost card that deals out 4 damage? For 1 mana, 1 red mana, 4 damage. Everyone thinks Lightning Bolt amazing. So Lightning Bolt, 1 red mana, 3 damage. This is 1 red mana, 4 damage. So this has got, there you go, Galvanic Blast. Galvanic Blast deals 2 damage to target creature or player. For 1 red. That's still good value. However, it has Metalcraft. Galvanic Blast deals 4 damage to that creature or player instead if you control 3 or more artifacts, which, as we know, is all the freaking time. Like, as I said, turn 1, you've already got 3 artifacts, so you can start dishing out 4 damage straight to your opponent's face with Galvanic Blast. They start getting annoying creatures out. Boom, gone. Most Planeswalkers start with 3, 4 loyalty counters, some with 5, but 3 or 4. Bang, Planeswalker, gone. This is stupid. It's a stupid card that is just amazing. Amazing value. Like, that's what we always want in Magic, is good value for money. Or, in this case, good value for mana. Boom. Galvanic Blast, epic card. Now this is where we start going off-piste. Here we go. I'm throwing into this deck 3 copies of Ensoul Artifact. Now, Ensoul Artifact definitely has popped up in this format before, but in a weird sort of way, it's not quite stuck around, and I tell you why. Because people are mad. That's why it hasn't stuck around. This is 2 cost for a 5/5. 2 cost. So turn 2, you can have a 5/5. This is going to play ridiculous with some of our mana. But however, you can attach this to your Cranial Plating, your Springleaf Drum. But however, its other abilities stay intact, so it can be a creature, but you can still tap Springleaf Drum to generate mana, but it's a blocker. 2 cost, 5/5. That doesn't exist in this game. You can't get a 2 cost 5/5, but this, yes you can, and that's why I've got 3 copies of it in this deck. I would have 4, but I like 60 card decks, and there's other stuff that, I don't know, just kind of had to take precedent. These 2. Here we go. Next, we've got this, and I debated about this card. For ages, and it went in, because, do you know what? I could see the value. Loads of people play the ability to have card draw in this decks, and the ability to have card draw is really important and it's really helpful. So this is Skull Clamp. There we go. Skull Clamp. So it's equipped creature gets +1/-1. That's not a problem. +1/-1, we're getting bigger creatures. Brilliant. It's cheap. 1 cost, 1 to equip. Whenever equipped creature dies, draw 2 cards. We're killing our creatures all the time, because we're killing our creatures to pump Arcbound Ravager, or to put counters from Arcbound Ravager on other creatures. This doesn't die. This isn't an equipment. This is an artifact. It's an artifact equipment. So when our creature dies, this stays on the battlefield. And we can just attach it to another creature next turn, or sacrifice it to put counters. Oh yes. Oh yes. So we get card draw, bigger creatures, more artifacts, everything gets bigger, everything dies more, this thing gets massive, and the boomage continues. Skull Clamp in this deck, I think, is brilliant. Now, one thing that I see played in this deck a lot is 4 copies of Mox Opal. Now, Don't get me wrong, Mox Opal is amazing, and if I had some, I would probably find a way to put it in my deck, because it is a zero-cost artifact. And as we said, things that cost nothing are amazing because they're free and they work and they're brilliant. Mox Opal is, it comes into play and it taps for basically any colour mana. It's amazing, but they're about £70 English a card. £70 a card. If I wanted to place it in here, that's £280. No thank you, no thank you. I've got better things to spend £280 on, like a holiday, or anything, or things that won't get me killed by the real boss. And it's definitely not me. £280 on a card? No thank you. So I've got a better alternative. We've already got Springleaf Drum to generate us mana, but we've now also got this. This is Chronomancer Lantern. It's a 3-cost card, so it's one of our more expensive cards. But, however, at the point where we want to start generating this coloured mana, lands you control have tap, add 1 mana of any colour to your mana pool. All of our lands now generate any colour mana we want. Anything. Which is helpful. And this also taps for any coloured mana. So this is basically like a land that taps for anything and makes all of our lands tap for anything. That is invaluable. It costs, but I tell you what, even a Mox Opal cannot make your lands tap for anything. That can. Now for me, 2 copies of that. Again, I would love to run 4, but shifting it around, the creatures are really important for the synergy of the deck. These things are really important. We're getting down to the bare bones. We're getting down to the bare bones, and that bare bones is now the land. We're going to start off with the obvious things first. We're going to start off with 4 copies of Blinkmoth Nexus. Blinkmoth Nexus is cool. It's there. Basically, you can tap and it will add 1 to your mana pool. As we say, we generally only need to create colourless mana. We've got, I say, Galvanic Blast and Infernal Artifact where we need to generate some coloured mana, and obviously we're going to start jumping our Cranial Plating around. We need to generate black. So blue, black, red. However, so we can tap it, add 1, or you can pay 1 and Blinkmoth Nexus becomes a 1/1 Blinkmoth Artifact creature with flying until end of turn. So at the point where you pay for this, you end up with another artifact, which makes Cranial Plating bigger, makes our synergy better. It flies. Flies are annoying. It's something else we can give Cranial Plating to. It's something else we can get for. It's brilliant. More artifacts, more flying, more crazy, more ouchiness. And then we've got its partner in crime. Again, another slightly more expensive card, but however, it is fantastic and it gives you another way to kill your opponent. This is Inkmoth Nexus. Now, Inkmoth Nexus also taps for 1 colourless mana, but however, you can pay 1 for this as well. And it becomes a 1/1 flying creature, but it has Infect. Infect is another way for you to kill your opponent. As we said, flying is hard to block unless you have direct spells. This has got Infect. It says it deals damage in the form of -1/-1 counters. So if your opponent's got a 1/1 and it gets blocked by this, puts a -1/-1 counter on it, your opponent's creature will die. Infect counters, if you as a player, so this deals damage directly to you as a player, it gets a -1/-1 counter on the player. If that player has 10 -1/-1 poison counters on you, you lose the game. You're dead. Think how quickly you can pump that with Cranial Plating and Arcbound Ravager. You swing with this, you've buffed it with Blinkmoth Nexus, so it's a 2/2 straight away, because you can pay 1 and tap it and put a 1/1 counter on a target, or get +1/+1 on a target Blinkmoth creature. So that's a 2/2. 3, 4 artifact. I mean, you can deal out like 5 Infect counters, turn 3, turn 4. Your opponent's halfway dead, turn 4, just with that. And that's another way. You're not even touching their life total, you're just killing them with Infect. It's epic. Then, Darksteel Citadel, which is, if I fan these out, it is an indestructible artifact land. There are many other artifact lands, but however, they are banned in the modern format, so this is the one we're going to swing with. Artifacts we want. The more artifacts we have, the more Cranial Plating gets. This gets amazing. indestructible and tap it, add 1/1. Do we all remember End Soul Artifact? If you End Soul this, turn 2, it becomes a 5/5 indestructible creature. So you can have an indestructible 5/5 wailing away on your opponent, turn 2. That is stupid and hurts a lot and will annoy them. And just, how do you get rid of, how much, you know, exile ability do you have turn 2? You've hit them, that's a quarter of their life gone. Turn 2, 5 damage, quarter of their life gone. Boom, we like that. Right, now this is the off-piste, but I think this makes a massive difference land-wise. Okay, you ready? One of the weaknesses I thought within this deck is if you go a little bit slow, or you're playing control and your opponents have got a little bit of interrupt and they start building up some steam, you do take damage, so you need something to do about it. And this is Tomb of the Spirit Dragon. Now, Tomb of the Spirit Dragon is brilliant, because what you do is you tap it and add 1, which is all we need to do, but have a Chronomancer starts making any colour mana. Or you can pay 2 and tap this, and you gain 1 life for each colourless creature you control. All of our creatures are colourless. Every single one of them. With this out, you can be gaining 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 life a turn, even if you're going against mono red aggro and they are hitting you with a lightning bolt every single turn. Doesn't matter. On their turn, pay 2, tap it. You've gained 3 back. They can throw all of the instant damage spells they want at your face. With this, you're totally outpacing them, and that is stupid. And that is ridiculous. That is my Infinity deck. I think the little tweaks make a massive difference. So you've got the Tomb of the Spirit Dragon, I think, solves a massive weakness with this deck. I think that it does make a massive difference. Chronomatic Lantern makes this epically more affordable, and I think it makes it better. I really do think it makes it better. 3 mana's not a lot, you know, it works. I think End Soul Artifact and Skull Clamp really work together. You're buffing your creatures again, you're getting big, you're getting fast. Hangerback Walker, for its ability to create so many artifacts to feed the synergy with Arcbound Ravager, is amazing. And I think, you know what, this, go away, create it. If you've got an Infinity deck, tweak it up, because the tweaks in this deck, this and this, aren't dear. Tweak it up, give it a play, and let me know what you think. Bang your comments down below. Let me know what you think of this deck. I think it's amazing, and I'd love to know what you think as well. Hope you've enjoyed this deck tech on the Mythic Booster channel. I've loved showing you it. Hope you enjoy it. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. Give it a great big thumbs up, and I will look forward to seeing you next time for more Magic the Gathering on the Mythic Booster channel. See you later, everyone. Goodbye!